All right, we're good.
I'm not recording
yet.
Okay, I'm now recording locally. Let's fuck with my boot mic a little bit. What tank is that?
The Free Max Fire Luke. I just got it like a month ago.
Whenever I was in Indianapolis, there was a guy that had a mod that looked like a gun magazine grip, and the way you released the batteries was with it had a trigger, and it popped it out like a magazine, and you put them in there and you put it back in.
That's cool.
That's cool. Okay, how does this sound?
Good.
Okay, cool. That was a good one.
Whoa. I opened up the airflow and it made it infinitely better.
Mine's always max open. I always have mine open.
See, I like a little bit of restricted airflow just because I feel like it gets better clouds.
Yeah, it could be. I have a problem with mine leaking sometimes. So I always have a napkin with me because it's been doing that recently.
Yeah, this one's actually really good with leaking. Although like I said, I'm coming from RDAs. Yeah. So it's literally if it's on even this much of an angle, it leaks. So having an actual pre-made coil tank, it's
yeah. See,
what do you even call this versus an RDA is like a dripper mod. What do you call this guy? It's just a normal tank.
It's a tank.
I love how you can always tell how stuffy my nose is by how much smoke comes out of one nostril, not the other. All right. Good to go whenever you are.
Oh. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Hello there. Welcome to episode 13 of Hello There, a Star Wars podcast, your weekly show for all things Star Wars. My name is Anthony Palm, and with me, as always, is my good friend Nate Hicks. How you doing, Nate?
Hello there. I'm good. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot to say. I'm just chilling like a villain.
Yeah, well, you've been busy with work, so understandable.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Not a lot, quantity-wise, but it's some dense stuff.
A lot of stuff to break down.
Yeah, I'm really excited. The main thing we're going to be talking about is the Star Wars Episode 9 cast reveal, which I think is a huge chunk of this podcast episode, just because there's a lot to break down in that. We're going to talk a little bit about Clone Wars, too, just because that's still kind of relevant. Mm-hmm. And so we'll get to that. But yeah, what have you been up to this week? Kind of doing anything Star Wars related, or you just been kind of gaming?
I've been doing mostly a lot of gaming. I popped into Battlefront 1 sometime last weekend, I think, and played a match. And I honestly don't know what I like better. That was pretty fun playing with mouse and keyboard, but I'm still not good at Battlefront 1. I got better as the match went on, but I was like, God, I'm terrible. It's just not as good. Well, going especially from Titanfall and even Call of Duty, I was just like, man, I am sucking right now.
Well, yeah, because you and I have both been, I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty World War II. And so you said going from Titanfall to Call of Duty kind of messed you up a lot just because of the difference in, the mobility in Titanfall obviously is way faster.
Yeah.
I jumped into a match of Battlefront 1 just because I was, I had some nostalgia for it, and I miss that game so much. I wish, it's still sort of populated. There's still a lot of players playing it, but no one's playing the modes I like. That's the problem.
Yeah, I definitely do
like
like
a lot
it
of people
better.
play Blast, but I miss Droid Run, dude.
Yeah.
I miss Droid Run on that. I don't remember the exact name of the map, but it's the Tatooine map with the transport in the middle.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And it's like the tents on like the outer edge of it. Like that was one of my favorite maps. And I freaking love that map. And I don't know. I might honestly just start playing it just with bots because I can't get anyone online to play it with, and it's like I don't really even like. It's not the same, sure, but it's still better than anytime I hop on Battlefront 2. I don't know what it is about Battlefront 2. Maybe I'll give it another true chance when the Clone Wars stuff starts coming out, but that's not till like end of the year. So
yeah, I will say that I did like what I played at Battlefront 1 a lot better because it felt a lot less convoluted. Like it just felt pop in, play. Like I feel like Battlefront 2 tends to be a little bit more of a chore multiplayer wise.
The thing is with Battlefront 2, I think the main issue I have with Battlefront 2 is I don't like any of the guns for any of the classes. Like Battlefront 1, I liked that you could use whatever gun you wanted. And Battlefront 2, like I'm fine with having the class stuff, but let me use whatever gun I want, I feel. You know what I mean? I don't like any of the guns. And like if you're playing as a clone trooper, none of the default clone trooper guns have any like scopes on them. They're all like that kind of iron sight, but not true iron sight. It's kind of scope like zooming in a little bit, but not actually ADS.
Right. Yeah. So besides that, I realized I've never followed Ray Park on Instagram, so I did that this past week. And
he's always working out.
Yeah, he's always working out. He's always at cons. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah. No, Ray Park's a good dude. I've never met him, but he seems like a good dude. Him and I don't know if you follow Daniel Logan as well. You should follow him.
I haven't yet, but I did see his when it was like when I followed Ray. It's like, oh hey, follow this as well.
I think he's like he hangs out with Ray Park a lot, which is awesome. That's totally like Darth Maul and Boba Fett just hang out. That's to me that's just so cool. It's so meta.
Oh, I did. There was one other thing. Do you watch iZombie at all?
I do not know.
Okay, so do you know Rahul Kohli?
Yeah, I know who he is. I just don't watch the show. Not intentionally. It's just not a show I ever got into.
Yeah, so we're my wife and I are watching it right now, and I really enjoy it. But his character and him as a person is great. But there was one episode where he went to this coffee shop a lot and knew the main cashier or main girl that worked the front,
bartender, barista, whatever they're called.
And so his partner Liv was like, "Oh yeah, you should go talk to her. You guys are meant to be together." And he made some sort of joke, or she said something. He was like, "Oh, like the Millennium Falcon," and she was like, "Yeah, is that the new Ford?" And he was like, "Wait, what?" And then like he was like. He's like, no, you're talking about he said the exact model of the Corellian freighter. He was like the YT, I think it was like 3000 Corellian freighter.
Yeah, the YT 1300.
Yeah. And she was just like, and he was like, from Star Wars with Harrison Ford. And she was like, oh, right, Star Wars. And he just goes, like he had terror in his eyes.
Well, that's like that episode of How I Met Your Mother where Ted starts talking to that, like the really younger girl. She's like in her 20s or something, and he's obviously
exactly.
Yeah, and he's like, she's like, or she quoted something from Star Wars, and he's like, you like Star Wars? And she's like, she's like, yeah, the prequels were great, or like she doesn't say prequels, but like she said something about like, something about the prequels, and he's like, close enough.
Yeah, that was funny. I really enjoyed that. Oh, he tweeted today a picture of him and Ray Park. And I was just like, hey, yeah.
Who did? Daniel Logan or
Rahul?
Rahul. Okay. Daniel Logan, he posted a picture on Twitter the other day. I guess someone drew him as Boba Fett as a Simpsons character. So it was like the Boba Fett armor, but he had his helmet off, but it was Daniel Logan's like head.
Yeah.
And it had Homer Simpson like frozen in carbonite, and like he was just like Boba Fett was just like sitting on Homer's couch. And he's like, sorry I couldn't make it to the con, but thanks for this awesome artwork. So they seem like two really cool dudes in real life. So I really hope Daniel Logan gets to play some sort of Boba Fett in the future. If it's not in the movie, which I would understand, but even if he just like he's in the Clone Wars final season, or they bring him back in some form, in some kind of animated form, or even just for like an audiobook or something. I don't know. That'd be cool.
At it, Ray got another chance, so I don't see why he couldn't.
That's the thing, is like Ray Park. That's the thing that's so mind-boggling to me in a good way. And spoilers for Solo that we also spoiled last week. But Ray Park is in Solo, and it's like they could have got anyone to just kind of, it's like a 10-second scene, you know what I mean? They could have got anyone. They could have even made it pure CGI, which I initially thought it might have been CGI because he looked kind of funny. But they brought Ray Park for it wasn't like an acrobatic scene or anything. It was just he's sitting in a chair and then he stands up and then he sits back down. And it's like they could have got anyone, but they did get Ray Park. And so to me, that's so cool. And to me, that's what gives me hope that Daniel Logan will have some kind of role in something, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I haven't really, I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone and a lot of World War II. Trying to think anything Star Wars related I've been doing. I've been meaning to, I think after we're done recording, I'm going to pop on the Thrawn audiobook because I do want to get through that because I did pick up Alliances. I didn't realize it launched already. So I was like, oh crap, let me get this like Barnes & Noble limited edition one because we were just there. And I was like, oh, this is out. So I got it. I got the one with Vader on the cover, not Anakin. I kind of wanted the Anakin one, but whatever. So I got that. So I'm going to try and after we're done recording here, I'm going to just pop that on and just kind of grind through some kind of game while I listen to that.
So I don't know if it's a regional thing, but has Barnes & Noble for you basically become Hastings?
What's Hastings?
Okay, so it is a regional thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Was that like a bookstore?
Hastings was like a bookstore / like pop culture thing. So they would always have
there's
movies and a bunch of stuff, and they went out of business like almost. I think it was sometime last year, but last time I went to Barnes & Noble, they basically kind of had the same stuff that Hastings used to have.
There's a comic shop in Boston. That's kind of like a pop culture place like that. It's like kind of like almost a almost like an FYE but with comics. What's it called?
Hastings was basically
Newberry Comics. I think it's Newberry Comics.
Yeah, Hastings was basically like an FYE but with a little less tech and more.
Okay, so it sounds like Newberry Comics.
Yeah,
which that's still around. That's in Boston. That's like 2-3 hours away from me. But no, I mean the only bookstores we really had in Connecticut were Barnes & Noble, still around, obviously, and then there was Borders, which went away like I want to say like 5-10 years ago. So
yeah,
it was a bummer because I liked Borders, but Barnes & Noble fills that same kind of niche. I don't know how you say that word. But yeah, so before we jump into really the meat and potatoes of this episode, like I said earlier, is going to be the Star Wars Episode 9 cast reveal. There's two things I kind of wanted to just get your opinion on and kind of pick your brain that's kind of been bothering me this past week. First thing being, I feel like Episode 4 doesn't get the credit it deserves. I feel like a lot of times when people are talking about Star Wars, they're talking about Empire, they're talking about Jedi, they're talking about how much they hate the prequels. But I feel like no one ever really talks about Episode 4 in even just kind of a neutral way. It just never really comes up, I feel like. And I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like and maybe I'm just crazy. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just in kind of my own echo chamber where I don't see it, but it is, you know. But I feel like anytime you talk to someone about Star Wars, they kind of immediately jump to Empire. I don't know. I feel like Episode 4 deserves some more love. And maybe it's the fact that the 97 re-releases had all the extra CGI crap, like there's like, oh, too many dewbacks, or like that one scene where they're flying into Mos Eisley rather. And, you know, you see like the CGI droids fighting with each other and the giant CGI dinosaur looking thing.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if maybe that's part of why people don't talk about it, because the re-releases added a bunch of crap to them. But I don't know, man. I love that movie. And I feel like anytime we rank our Star Wars movies, or anytime I just do it for myself, I feel like it always starts out lower. And then I think about it and I'm like, no, I need to put Episode 4 way up higher.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, because whenever I rewatched the original trilogy recently, I kind of had the same thought of like, I like A New Hope, but it's just the more I watch it, the more I'm like, I kind of like almost all of them better than this one.
See, and it's the opposite for me. I feel like anytime I watch it, I like it more. Anytime I think about it, I'm like, I like the other movies better. But then I actually watch it, and I'm like, oh no, this movie's great.
Yeah,
it's because when you're thinking about it, like when you're not actively watching it, but you're thinking about it, it's like it's kind of simple. The plot's kind of basic. There's not a lot that happens. They only are really on like Tatooine, like they're on the moisture farm, then they're in Mos Eisley, and then they're on the Death Star. You know, So you're thinking about that, and you're like, it's kind of a relatively simple plot with a simple story, and not a lot of characters, and not a lot of locations. But then you watch it, and it's like, but it's so good, and there's so much detail in every part of the movie.
Yeah, there definitely was a lot more than I remembered, and excuse me, there was a lot of enjoyment I got out of it. But I think it's when I think about it, I think less of it, but when I watch it, I do enjoy it more. But like especially having just seen Solo recently, I really enjoyed seeing Han's performance in A New Hope. Like I just love that character so much more. I guess that makes sense, but I it kind of put Han in a little bit of a better context for me, which I guess was the goal of Solo. Whereas, you come into episode 4 originally and you're like, oh, it's just this other character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when you initially go into episode 4, it's like, hey, he's just kind of a sleazebag, kind of, like a smuggler, and he kind of doesn't care about anything but himself until the end. And watching Solo, it's like, all right, well, he is a smuggler, but he's got a heart of gold, and you just kind of, maybe he's just scorned and jaded from whatever happened between Solo and A New Hope.
Yeah.
So I guess it adds more dimension to him. But even not even talking about that, just A New Hope in a vacuum, I just feel like it needs a little more love in general.
Yeah, I can.
And people forget that one was the first one directed by George Lucas himself. I don't know. And then there was one other thing I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember what it was. Do you have anything you want to talk about? What was it?
Yeah, not necessarily for me. I still need to go back and do my rewatch of the prequels. I just haven't really had a chance to yet. I think there's a couple other movies that I've been wanting to watch, so I'm kind of trying to balance those in there on my days off.
Yeah, I've been reading theories about Avengers 4, and so that's making me want to rewatch. Like, there's certain things that it's kind of spoilery if they're true, so I won't say them. But there's like some big theories about episode 4, Avengers 4, that are making me want to rewatch like Phase 1 and 2.
Yeah, I still have to go and watch. We still have to go see Ant-Man. I haven't seen the second Ant-Man.
I want to see it, but we just haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah.
I do want to see it. Ant-Man is actually the only one I don't have. The first one is the only one I don't have on Blu-ray or digital. So for some reason, I don't know why. I think what it was is that it's that stupid Disney thing of their home releases where it's like, if you want the Blu-ray plus the digital version, you have to buy the 3D version, which is like $35 or something. I'm like, I just don't want to pay that much for Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed the first one, but I'm not paying that much to get the Blu-ray plus the digital. So if the digital goes on sale, maybe I'll pick it up, but I don't know. But I do want to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, but this is a Star Wars podcast. So I think what I wanted to talk about, why don't we just get this out of the way first before we jump into the cast news? Because I think that's, like I said, going to be the majority of the episode, is the Clone Wars viewing order. There's a couple ways you can watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Obviously, the one everyone thinks of is just start from episode 1 and go all the way through it. Which that's the easiest way to do it. And I don't blame anyone that wants to do it that way. Starting with the Clone Wars animated, feature film, and then going through from episode 1, season 1 to, the last episode of The Lost Missions. But there's also, you shared a link with me from Kotaku.com. It's an Australian Kotaku link, actually. I don't know who wrote it. I can actually get that now. But that is Kotaku's, looks like Hayley Williams. I'm assuming not the Paramore singer. But maybe it is. I don't know. She's not Australian, though, I don't think. So this list from Kotaku is just the essential episodes, which would cut out a lot. a lot. So I went through it before, and I didn't literally count the episodes, but just kind of scrolling through it, it almost looks like it's one season's worth of episodes, but it's the episodes themselves span the whole series. So if you just kind of want an abridged version of the Clone Wars, I would maybe take a look at this. Like, if you've seen it before and you just want to get caught up quick before season 7 comes out, which that's everyone's calling the new season 7. So remember last week I was saying, is this going to be like season 6A, how like Breaking Bad kind of did that. It sounds like it's just going to be Lost Missions will be renamed season 6 and the new season will be season 7. But so this list, I mean, it does have a lot of great episodes in it. It does include the theatrical release as Clone Cadets and Rookies, which I think is a very important kind of 1-2 punch, even though they come at different moments in the series. Rookies obviously is a season 1 episode, and Clone Cadets is a season 3 episode. But I think you got to watch. I think if you're rewatching it, you got to watch Clone Cadets first and then Rookies, because it makes Rookies feel so much. Not earned is the wrong word, but it gives you
You're more attached,
more satisfaction. Yeah, when you watch Rookies. And I actually did rewatch Rookies since last episode, and I did not pay attention to the thing you told me to look out for last week. So when I started it again, the Clone Wars, when I get to Rookies, I will then keep an eye out for the thing you told me to keep an eye out for.
I probably won't pay attention to it either, just because it's so.
I got to the end of the episode, and I was like, "Oh crap! I didn't listen out for the thing you told me to." And I was like, "I'm not rewatching it right this second." So, but so it has a lot of good episodes in it, though. It has some Massage Venture stuff. It has the Lair of Grievous, which was, I think, if I remember correctly, the Lair of Grievous. R2 is captured, and they have to find R2.
I don't think so. I think the Lair of Grievous was where Kit Fisto and his Padawan.
He has like a Mon Calamari Padawan, right? And then he just gets wrecked by Grievous.
Yeah, it's like a trap. But I think the R2 thing is close. That may be in an episode arc, I think, because I know what you're talking about. Maybe. I know it's somewhere around there.
Yeah. And then they also list the Ryloth season 1 arc, which is important if you are not super important, but gives a lot more kind of context to Star Wars Rebels, because one of the main Ryloth, the Twi'leks are from Ryloth, right?
Yeah.
Because Hera Syndulla is a Twi'lek. So, do you say Twi'lek? Twi'lek? What do you say?
I say Twi'lek.
I say Twi'lek, but I don't know. I think Twi'lek is actually accurate, but that's just how I've always said it. So it's like hard to untrain myself. But so Hera's father is one of the main characters of that arc, and so he kind of comes into play of sorts in Rebels. So watching this arc and then going into Rebels later, you're going to be like, oh, I know this character.
Yeah.
So that's cool. The Holocron heist. So like it has the first 3 episodes of season 2. That's kind of when Cad Bane comes into it. And I love Cad Bane. I think he's a badass villain. I kind of wish that they would use him in some kind of. I was hoping he would appear in Solo, but I guess not. But maybe if there's another movie that takes place in between. Well, actually, he couldn't. Well, we don't know what happens with Cad Bane. So at least as far as I know, I don't think we find out. I don't think we have a resolution for him. So he could have been there in Solo. But if we get any kind of prequel era movie or anything, I hope Cad Bane comes back because he's awesome. There's the Zillo Beast 2-part episode, which I loved those 2 episodes. I don't know why. It's just like it's such a kind of a commentary on like disturbing, wild habitats and that type of thing. And I just really dug it. And it also is kind of, it plants the seeds of Palpatine kind of being like an evil kind of like mastermind of like, hey, this is an asset, not a living thing, And so I really like that. Let's kind of skip through. We don't need to talk about everything. There's some Mandalore stuff, which sets up more stuff in Rebels. So any of the Mandalore stuff, definitely watch. Especially the Duchess Satine stuff with Obi-Wan. Satine herself doesn't really come into play in Rebels, but stuff revolving around her does come into play in Rebels. So if you're gonna watch Rebels, definitely watch the looks like season 2 episodes 12, 13, and 14. That has to do with Mandalore. Let's see, what's some more stuff? There's some Zero the Hutt stuff. It's
yeah, I was
it's okay. I wouldn't say the Zero stuff is really that important. But the Night Sisters episodes, there's the 3-parter at season 3, episode 12, 13, 14. That is hugely important because that has to do with a certain Dathomirian Zabrak with red and black and horns. Yeah. We won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't watched Clone Wars yet and doesn't know that he is back, but he is back. So definitely check that out. That ties into him a lot. Darkness on Umbara, the General Plan Descent, Carnage. So there's a 4-part kind of arc revolving around Jedi Master Krell
That's probably one of my favorite arcs in Clone Wars.
It's really dark.
It's
really, really dark, and it's really good. And it really revolves around the clones more than anything. Like Anakin and Obi-Wan aren't really in it that much. And so if you want to kind of empathize and kind of grow and learn about the clones themselves, watch that 4-part series because it's awesome. It's just so good. Let's see. Anything on here standing out to you? The box is great. That's when Obi-Wan has to go undercover. I thought that whole arc was awesome.
Yeah, I loved that episode.
Brothers and Revenge, obviously that's
very important
too.
Yeah. So something I find interesting, if you scroll down a little bit, they have all of the lost episodes on here except for
the Clovis stuff.
Yeah,
because the Clovis stuff was totally just like episodes that were done, but if they could have chosen to do another arc, like if they had known that it was going to get canceled and they could have did a different arc, they would have did a different arc. But I feel like the Clovis stuff was just already done, so it's like, well, we're not going to not release it.
Yeah, and I guess I'm really fine with that. To be honest, I mean, that's not really missing a whole lot, but I think that the rest of the Lost Missions episodes on here are very important.
Especially like the whole episodes 1 through 4.
Yeah,
and this article even says, like in quotes, wait, so if the clones are so loyal to the Jedi, why did Order 66 happen? That explains it, you know?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the season outside of the Clovis arc is, I mean, you have Darth Bane, you have Yoda, you have Liam Neeson returning. It's awesome. It's so good. So go check out Lost episodes. But check out this list. Like I said, if you want kind of an abridged version of Clone Wars, but if you're a first-time viewer and you don't mind dealing with having to scroll through the episodes on Netflix, I would do StarWars.com has a list of episodes in chronological order. And really, once you get through season kind of 2, it's okay, there's a random season 1 episode in the middle of season 3. But once you really get through season 2, it's mostly in order. There's just a couple episodes out of order. I would just do it this way, just so it makes chronological sense, you know?
Yeah. Also, I don't want to tell you this because if it's your first time watching, I would just really either watch how they are on Netflix, or if you wanted to get in depth with it, you could do like he's saying and watch it chronological. But if there's really any episode that you feel like, is this really important? You could probably look it up and see, like the one in particular we've talked about multiple times, the droid episode, where it's just the astromechs going on that mission.
Yeah, was that season 5, season 4, season
that
5?
Was season 5.
And it's just like a 3-part episode of like a bunch of droids.
Yeah.
And like, it's not important, but it's not really important either. So it's like, if you want to watch it, I probably will just put them on when I get to it, just to see if they're really as bad as we're making them out to be. But if you do get to those episodes in season 5 and you're kind of like, do I need to watch this? You can skip through the droid episodes, I think.
Yeah. But either way, like these episodes, some of them, yeah, they're filler, but they also serve a purpose in some way, shape, or form. So
now there is an episode I can't remember. I think it might be the Blue Shadow Virus episode, or like that arc. I don't remember if that was an arc or just like a one-off episode. I just don't remember. But there's an episode in season 1 through 3. I know it's in that kind of area where you get like a huge kind of like hint of Vader in Anakin, where Anakin just goes like, you see him go to the dark side for like a split second, and you're like, whoa, that's really dark. And then and then he comes back and he's like, well, I shouldn't have done that. But there's one moment, and when I get to it, I'll bring it up on, I'll see exactly what episode it is. But I think it's the Blue Shadow Virus, because it has to do with like Anakin saving Ahsoka, and he goes like almost like Sith for that one moment where he like straight up almost force chokes someone.
I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember which episode it is either, but I know what you're talking. Yeah.
But like when I first saw that episode, like way back when, I was like, whoa, like this is what we wanted from Attack of the Clones. It's like we wanted to see Vader in Anakin before Vader really comes full blown. And you do see him get really angry at a bunch of sand people in Attack of the Clones. But I wanted, like, this moment was something I point to when I was like, this is what I wanted from the prequels. And that is one of those moments I point to when people are like, well, the prequels sucked. There's nothing good about the prequels. And I was like, but the Clone Wars, this moment in Clone Wars, that's what I'm talking about. And so
it's either episode 17 or 18 in season 1, because episode 17 is the Blue Shadow virus and episode 18 is the Mystery of the Thousand Moons.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those two.
Yeah.
Padme? I thought it was Ahsoka.
I think it's either Padme or Ahsoka.
I don't remember. When I get to it, I'll bring it up again. Like I said, I don't want to dwell on maybes. So, is there anything else you want to talk about as far as the Clone Wars viewing order before we get really into the big topic of the show?
Not necessarily viewing order, but if you still haven't seen the trailer for the new season, go watch it because it still gives me chill bumps. I watched it earlier yesterday, and I'm just like, oh my god, I love this trailer
like
so much.
Every time I hear the dialogue from Rookies, it's like, oh my god, like it gets me so hyped.
Yeah, and
it makes me sad because there's spoilers for things that happen to characters that are in that trailer.
Yeah,
and so it's like it makes me a little sad, but a little nostalgic, and so it's awesome. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, so let's just jump into it because we're at we're like almost a half hour into the show. Star Wars Episode 9 cast announced. Now, this came on July 27th, which was this past Friday. And a lot of surprises, a lot of obvious ones. Returning cast: Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Lupita Nyong'o, which means we will be getting more Maz Kanata. And hopefully in the way that we kind of predicted a couple weeks ago. But we'll see. Donald Gleason, he's back as Hux. Hopefully he's not as much of a kind of slapstick kind of loser character this time around, because I thought that he was really good in Force Awakens, and then they kind of just made him a joke in the second movie. Kelly Marie Tran will be back, thankfully. Junis Sutomo, of course, as Chewbacca. And Billie Lourd is billed as, a cast member. She's not just kind of like there, because I feel like they didn't really advertise her as being in Force Awakens really at all. She just kind of was like, oh, hey, did you know like Carrie Fisher's daughter was in this? And then Last Jedi, she was a little more present, but I wonder if she was a little more present because in the editing, maybe they wanted to make her more prominent. But I hope she's like an actual main character this time around. I really do.
I totally forgot that Carrie, by the way, because I totally forgot Carrie Fisher died in 2016. I had sworn up and down it was 2017 that she had passed away, like early 2017.
Well, no, because it was like right after Rogue One came out, I feel like.
God, man, that I have just like a bridge of time that I just don't remember.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Last Jedi feels like it came out 2 years ago at this point anyways, and it's still been less than a year. So
yeah, that's true.
Okay, so those are the returning cast as they are billed. Joining the cast in Episode 9 are Naomi Ackie, who I am not familiar with, Richard E. Grant, which I don't believe I'm familiar with either, and Carrie Russell, who is interesting. I'm glad that's gonna be cool seeing Carrie Russell in there.
You would know who Richard E. Grant is because he's been in a lot of things. Okay,
kind of like Max von Sydow, where it's like I know him from stuff, but I don't know what stuff I know him from.
Did you see Logan?
Still no, because the thing with Logan is it got spoiled for me, and then I was like, well, screw it. Like that's kind of why I haven't seen Logan. It's not because I don't want to see it.
He's been in a lot of Doctor Who. Well, he was in seasons through 2012 and 2013. See, I already thought when I saw his picture, I already thought he'd been in a Star Wars movie.
The name sounds very familiar
right now.
I'm gonna look up Richard E. Grant real quick. And then again, like I said, Carrie Russell, and then other returning Star Wars veterans. Here's where it gets very interesting. Anthony Daniels, who is, of course, C-3PO. Billy D. Williams, who we did talk about last week, I believe. So we won't dwell on Billy D. We'll bring him up in a minute, though. Mark Hamill, confirmed. So anyone that thought Luke wasn't going to be back, like, come on. He straight up tells Kylo, I'll see you around, kid. Like, we knew he was going to be back in some form. Now, how much he'll be back, we don't know. Because if you think about it, Obi-Wan was in episodes 5 and 6, but he wasn't in them a lot, but his scenes were important for the ones he was in. So I'm hoping at least as much Luke as we got of Obi-Wan in 5 and 6. And then this is the huge bombshell that I was like, holy crap. The role of Leia Organa will once again be played by Carrie Fisher using previously unreleased footage shot for The Force Awakens. Quote, "We desperately loved Carrie Fisher," unquote, says Abrams. Quote, "Finding a truly satisfying conclusion to the Skywalker saga without her eluded us. We were never going to recast or use a CGI character. With the support and blessing from her daughter, Billy, we have found a way to honor Carrie's legacy and role as Leia in Episode 9 by using unseen footage we shot together for Episode 7, unquote." So put a pin in that real quick. Let me finish this, but that's what we're going to be talking about when I'm done reading this. Composer John Williams will be returning for Episode 9. Now, I do believe this is going to be his last hurrah with Star Wars. Just because he is getting older, it's getting harder for him to kind of, he doesn't record with the London Symphonic Orchestra anymore, just because it's, across the pond. So this is probably going to be his last Star Wars entry. He might contribute like how he contributed to Solo, but he's not going to be fully scoring anything anymore, I don't think. And, obviously there's no confirmation on episodes 10, 11, 12. So we would hope he would come back for that if that happens, if he is, able to physically. But so this, I'm guessing, will be his last hurrah. So it's awesome they did get him back for this, though, because there was the chance, he might not come back and someone else, like a Giacchino or someone might have to step in. And then Star Wars Episode 9 will be produced by Kathleen Kennedy, confirming she is not gone yet, J.J. Abrams, and Michael Rewan, and executive produced by Callum Green and Jason McGatlin. Crew includes a bunch of other guys that I don't really recognize: Michael Kaplan, Neil Scanlon. So okay. What were your initial thoughts on Carrie Fisher?
I was surprised like you were. I was personally kind of hoping that, whenever we first talked about this, I wasn't taking into account the 9 being the finale of the Skywalker saga. So that, putting that in context, that does make sense. But like I've said before, I was really hoping we would have an off-scene death for Leia, and then that's just how the movie starts. I trust JJ to make this to where it's not super odd, like where it doesn't seem out of place, because we don't know the context of the scenes that they shot. I guess honestly it could be worse. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really down on it at all. I'm just curious to see what it'll be. Let
me preface the statement I'm about to say by the fact that I do like The Last Jedi, and I do think Rian Johnson did a good job. But with that said, I trust J.J. Abrams 1,000% more with handling Carrie Fisher, posthumously in Episode 9 than I would have if this was Rian Johnson doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think JJ knows the level of care and sensitivity required for this. And I would be worried that Ryan would be like, I can do whatever I want and shake things up however I want with Leia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think I trust JJ a lot more than I would have trusted Rian Johnson. I think that it's interesting. What I'm curious, though, about is because they are Force Awakens unreleased scenes, are they going to be flashbacks? Is Leia dead in present time in the movie? And will this just be flashbacks of Leia? Maybe like Leia and Han had a conversation, before he left for Starkiller Base, and it was about Rey, per se. You know what I mean? Like, who's the girl? Well, she's this girl I picked up on, whatever, but she's actually blah, 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 whatever. I'm curious, is this going to be Leia alive, or is this going to be Leia in a flashback?
That is an interesting thought, because obviously in no way, shape, or form am I disrespecting or throwing shade at all on Carrie Fisher, but even she said it herself. Her performance was completely different from The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. Like The Force Awakens, I remember her saying, I think it was on the Graham Norton show, her trying to find a rhythm to get back into that character. And when you go and watch them back to back, you can see a total difference. Like Carrie seems way more comfortable in her role in The Last Jedi. It seems like a very natural evolution for that character. Whereas for me, at least in The Force Awakens, it was like, this is the first time in 30 years I've been back playing this character, like trying to find a way that it's... Go ahead.
I think with The Last Jedi, Leia as a character, so Carrie portraying her, had the edge of Leia from episodes 4, 5, and 6. She had the wit and the edge and the kind of the snarkiness that made her who she was, and and she was kind of a smart ass, and she was kind of like, I'm gonna do this my way, and you're doing this wrong. Whereas in Force Awakens, I feel like she was a little softer of a character. She still kind of she still kind of picked on Han and that, but in general, it almost seemed like she was a little more timid in Force Awakens. And in Last Jedi, she was full on like, I'm the general of this fleet. Like, listen to me. I'm I'm the one you need to. I'm the leader. And in Force Awakens, not that she wasn't the leader, but she did seem a little more reserved. And I think that what you said about her as an actress did kind of reflect that. Maybe she's getting into a groove a little bit, and I'm curious to see what these scenes consist of. And so if I had to guess, I would say these will be flashbacks, because it's not like we haven't seen flashbacks. We've seen Force backs in Force Awakens, and we saw true flashbacks in The Last Jedi. So I'm going to make a guess that her scenes in episode 9 will be something that happened on the timeline during The Force Awakens, but it's going to be some kind of reveal that they didn't want to have revealed in Force Awakens. Whether that has to do with Rey, I don't know. I mean, I still don't know if I believe Kylo when he said your parents were nobody, junk, or whatever's. But I think that there will be some sort of reveal that they didn't want to yet reveal in Force Awakens.
I haven't thought about that. I think that that's probably, I can swallow that a lot easier than the other.
And I think the way of kind of softening the blow of it's going to be flashbacks is in the crawl, you straight up say Princess Leia has passed away, the same way Luke Skywalker has vanished in Force Awakens. Yeah. I think that's how you do it. I'm not a filmmaker. J.J. Abrams has, he has Bad Robot. He's, he makes a crap ton of money off these movies. He knows what he's doing. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's just my opinion, but that's what I would like to see. If that's not how it plays out, like I said, I trust JJ at this point. And I also think J.J. Abrams this time around, he's living with knowing, people are saying Force Awakens was too safe. I think that he knows that this is anyone's last chance. Not even just his, just anyone. Like, this is it. Like, this is the Skywalker saga. This is how it ends. And I think he knows that. And I trust JJ at this point.
Yeah, I think episode 9 is going to be nothing, but I do not think that we are going to get the same reaction to episode 9 as we did with episode 8.
Well,
as far as the quality of the movie, I'm not talking about people's perceptions. I'm talking about quality of the movie.
Yeah, I know, but I'm worried that people are going to be looking out for how is JJ going to retcon Last Jedi, and then it might get crap for not retconning stuff a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm worried about. I'm not even going to look at what other people think of this movie when it first comes out.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm going to view this movie in a vacuum. This movie is going to be episode 9. Not episode 9, but it's actually fixing stuff from 7 and 8. It's just gonna be episode 9 to me.
Yep.
So, but I think that I trust J.J. Abrams right now, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm excited that they just upfront confirmed Mark is back instead of trying to do the is he back? Is he not back? I don't know. Maybe like is John Harrison Khan? Like it just Mark Hamill's back. Luke's back. That's out of the way. We don't have to speculate for a year and a half. Is Luke Skywalker back? We know he's back in some form. He's back.
So if they wouldn't have said anything, I would have taken it like the situation happened. I think I said this before already, but I would have taken it to be a similar situation like in the video game Batman Arkham Knight, where, spoiler for a 2015 game, the build up to that game, the trailers, the coverage.
Ooh, good point.
I
know where you're going with this.
Yeah, showed nothing to do with the Joker whatsoever. But in turn, like Mark Hamill, there wasn't anything like, oh, he's on the cast of the game, whatever. And turns out in the game that the Joker is a major part of the game. He's like
basically the other main character.
Yeah, he's in your psyche.
I love that about Arkham Knight. That's a great. I didn't even think of that. That's a great point.
Yeah. So if they wouldn't have announced him, that's what I thought. That's what I would have thought they were going to do. Is Mark is in the movie as Luke Skywalker, but kind of like not necessarily a surprise, but a surprise. That's how I would have taken it if they didn't say anything. So I do think it is good that they did say, hey, he is back, because it probably would have, like, people probably already knew that was going to happen anyway. And so to give them just he's in it. Like,
yeah, I think it's if episode 8 came out and it was just kind of a neutral to good reaction, I think that they keep it quiet that he's not back. But I think the fact that episode 9 was so polarizing and people were so angry about Luke's death, they had to be upfront, like, oh, wait, he's dead. Yeah, technically, but he's still there. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was a little bit of damage control. Like, yes, Luke is dead, but also, yes, you'll still see Luke. I think that's why because I kind of figured Luke was going to be back. That's why to me, it was emotional. It was a big deal that they killed Luke. But I also never thought for a second we weren't going to see him again. You know, so I think other people like they just took Luke dying as Luke's dead, and then he's not going to be in episode 9. And I'm like, what are you getting so mad about for? So
yeah, well, unfortunately for me, when he died at the end of The Last Jedi, it didn't do anything for me because I knew we were going to see him again. But like I told you when you texted me that the cast was announced, my hope for Luke in this last one is we're going to see Luke more as a mentor, more as a well of knowledge than a hermit like we saw in The Last Jedi.
Oh, I think that's what we're gonna get. But part of me also kind of doesn't even want to see him interact with Rey. Part of me wants to just be like a poltergeist, just like bothering Kylo at every like turn. That I feel like that would be really funny if it's just like Kylo wakes up and Luke's just like, "What's up, kid?" And then like he turns a corner and he's really mad, and Luke's like, "You know that anger, not helping you." Like it just like if he's just there just to nag Kylo, I think that we'll get him just kind of tutoring Rey. But it would be funny if he was just like like a poltergeist, just like Kylo will be sitting there minding his own business, and then like a bunch of papers just fly up, and Luke's like, "Well, what?"
So to break down a couple,
do they even have papers in Star Wars other than the Jedi texts? I don't know.
I don't know. To break down a couple things, as some of these other castings. Because of what I've seen Richard E. Grant be in other movies, he's almost always been a bad guy, or almost.
Yeah. So in Doctor Who, he was not a physical being; he was a voice, and so that's why he was. Oh, okay. Never mind. He was in it for like an episode. Okay. I remember what character he was, and yes, it was a villain.
He was also in Game of Thrones. I don't know if you remember that. He played the actor that when that whole thing. Whenever. I'm going to get into a tangent for a second where Arya is like on that stage. It's whenever she's doing the whole like training to be the assassin.
Oh, when she saves the lady she's supposed to poison her and then she doesn't poison her, and then the other girl like whacks her in the back of the head. Okay.
Yeah, he's the actor with that really bad wig. It's on the pictures on there, but
okay. I remember generally that character.
Yeah. But so he's almost always been like a conniving or a bad guy character. So he's almost guaranteed to be someone in the First Order. I'm just interested who.
I wonder if he's going to be like Captain Kennedy, where he's like in the first scene and then he dies.
Or
like Rick Ollie, where it's like they promoted Rick Ollie a real lot before Phantom Menace, and then he's just some dope pilot that just gets them from Naboo to Tatooine.
Yeah, could be. I think the one I'm most interested in, you probably are too, is Kerry Russell.
Yeah, there was speculation it's going to be Rey's mom. I don't think so. I think she's just going to be another part of. I think she's going to be part of the Resistance/Rebellion, but there's a chance that she's in the First Order too. Maybe she's like a motherly figure to Kylo, in the sense of like if Leia was like the good angel on your shoulder, maybe she's the bad motherly angel on her shoulder. I don't know. Maybe I still think she's going to be part of the rebellion, but there is that chance. I don't think she's Rey's mother though.
I totally forgot that she was in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. I was scrolling through her.
It's funny. I'm the only person on the planet that when I hear Kerry Russell's name, I think of Saw, like the Saw franchise, because she was in 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why. I just like that's the first thing I think of with her.
I think of all the other stuff she's been in. I don't think I saw, but so I guess the only other thing I'm super curious about is what are they going to do with Lando?
I think I hope with all of my being that him and Nine Nunn, the only reason they kept Nine Nunn alive is to co-pilot the Falcon with Billy D. That's like I'm hoping against all hope that is the reason why Nine Nunn has survived this long, is just so he can co-pilot the Falcon again. I don't know, man, because I wonder if it's going to be a thing of like they need some kind of smuggling help, or they just need some kind of wise wisdom from Lando, or if it's just a matter of like he's not even really important, he's just kind of there.
It's probably going to be him and Maz, if I was to take a guess.
I see that would be cool if we get him and Maz kind of like they're just shooting the crap at like at a cantina or something, and then Ray and maybe Ray and Finn or Finn and Poe. I want to see Finn and Poe together again, man, because I know that it was a big deal. Like Ray and Finn are back together, but I want to see Poe and Finn hang out. So it would be cool if like Poe and Finn had to go find Maz and Lando for like some kind of secret or some kind of information. So that'd be cool.
I think I've said this before. What I want the most out of episode 9 is I know it's supposed to be the end of the Skywalker saga, but I think I personally really want this movie to be mainly focused on Rey and Kylo. Like I want to see Kylo built as a what's a word I'm looking for? I want him to be built
like a complex villain,
to be this complex villain character, and maybe even in some capacity, someone like Thrawn, like listening to the book. I know Thrawn is this like terrible villain, but in this book, I want him to succeed.
See, that's kind of what I want Hux to be, and like, I feel like episode 8, just of all the characters that episode 8 bastardized, I think Hux was the worst one. Because I still think you can justify the way Luke acted in episode 8 because he's old and he's jaded and his student turned on him and he basically created the new Vader. It's like you can kind of understand that. Mm-hmm. But Hux, they just made him just the butt of a joke. And it's like, I wanted Hux to be such a cool character.
At the beginning of the movie, too.
Yeah, like immediately they turned him into just kind of like an idiot. When he was so good in Force Awakens. Like that scene where his like veins are bulging out of his face and he's like, we will destroy the Resistance and this will be the end of like when he's doing basically like a Hitler, like just like veins bulging out of his face. So I hope Hux is kind of the Thrawn character of episode 9. If Thrawn isn't even in it, I mean, we don't know if Thrawn's alive or dead at this point in this. I mean, he's probably old as crap if he is alive. But
I want to see Last Jedi again. I'm just like in the mood now just to watch it again.
I want to watch Force Awakens then Last Jedi. Like I want to watch them back to back.
That's probably what I'll do. Is I'll do the original I'll probably watch prequels first and then I'll go back to it. I don't know. I'll do it some way, but I just
you're just gonna put Last Jedi on and then
exactly because I've seen
because it's like I always want to watch everything and then it's like but there's only 24 hours in a day, so I gotta watch just one right now.
Yep.
Let's see. So what else? So we got Kelly Marie Tran. She is back, so we know that she's alive. I mean, she kind of was sort of alive at the end. Like we knew she didn't die right there, but you never know if she could have like died of her injuries or something afterwards. So I think it's safe to say she's back. And I hope that JJ gives her a big role and makes her important because I feel like Kelly Marie Tran is a good actress. And I feel like I personally did like Rose. I know a lot of people didn't, but I mean, you give Rose somewhere to go other than Canto Bight, and I think she's fine. So I think Canto Bight really just hurt everything about that segment of the movie. And I think it's I'm not getting into Canto Bight.
Well, like I said, the only thing about Kelly Marie Tran is, and not even her as an actress, like the only thing I didn't like about Rose was that very last part when she just like says the speech, which I enjoyed, and then she kissed Finn. And to me personally, I just felt like that kiss wasn't needed. That's the only thing that I didn't like about her performance in Last Jedi. But I know we differ on that because you said that you were fine with it. But it was just, it's kind of one of those things like, I don't think that was a good punctuation for her monologue. I think
so. So then you just have her do the Padme death, only like she doesn't die, but she closes her eyes of like.
Well, I just think they didn't build that relationship up. Like it just seemed like.
Fair. Well, because you still have hints of the Rey Finn relationship. So it's like, well, what are we doing?
So it's like, well, that came out.
Now we doing like Pei, like Reylo and Poe. I mean, not Reylo, kind of like Rey and Poe. Like, I don't know. I don't really want to ship any of these characters. I don't think any of them need to end up with each other. I think that they all should stand on their own. But I'm okay if like one set of them ends up being together. But we don't need all of them in a relationship with, you know what I mean? Like, they don't need to. They should stand alone, stand on their own. So I don't know. We'll see. What else do we got? So we talked about Richard E. Grant. We talked about Kerry Russell. I'm very interested to see. We kind of briefly mentioned Maz with like maybe her and Lando, but I really hope that Maz is expanded on in this movie and let us know a little bit of her mythology. Like she's 900 years old or 1,000 years old or over 1,000, however old she is. tell us, is she the Pirate Queen? Like, to tell us, is that totem Anakin had in Force and Phantom Menace? Is that her? Like, I just want to know. Even if it's in a comic book leading up to Episode 9, just tell me, please. I just want to just expand on Maz, please, because I want to know more about Maz.
Yeah, which we obviously didn't get in The Last Jedi, but we've talked about that before. Yeah, Maz is someone that when I saw her in The Force Awakens, I loved Lupita's performance. Like, I really enjoyed. Like, she legitimately brought that character to life. And now something that had just popped into my head is: do you think that we're gonna get? I feel like we're gonna get a lot of like answers to our questions in Episode 9 because it is like the last one of the Skywalker saga. But it's gonna be fine. I can almost guarantee it. But there's a small portion of me. It's like, are they gonna focus too much on answering questions, or are they gonna do this concise story? And I know the answer to it, but there's always that little tiny nagging part of me that's like, well, I don't know, you know.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this question and just give me the first answer that comes to your mind. Are we going to see Hayden Christensen in this movie?
I would like that. I would like to either see him as a Force ghost or
we won't get a flashback. No, we won't see a flashback. He's too old to be a flashback. I mean, they would have to kind of CGI him plus make him a Force ghost to kind of cover up.
Yeah,
you know,
I see what you mean.
Because he is a bit older now.
That could be a Mark Hamill situation with Arkham Knight. Is like Hayden Christensen isn't anywhere near this movie, but yet maybe he's in that. I would. He's been really like around.
He's been on the con circle. He's been doing stuff. He's been working out. I think he did something with Ray Park. I think I could be making that up, but I thought I heard that. I don't know. I would love to see Hayden in this movie, and I would love it. Partly because I just would love to see Anakin, and partly just because it'll just make all the prequel haters just so angry, and I would love it because I love the prequels.
We know.
Okay, so I mean, the only ones we didn't really talk about are, you know, the core 4. You know, Daisy, Adam, John, Oscar. I hope Poe is not a bumbling idiot this time around, because they kind of made him a little bit of a bumbling idiot, and it kind of made me a little mad in Last Jedi. And they kind of made Finn a bumbling idiot too, honestly.
Yeah, they really did. I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot. Well, Rey is now the Last Jedi, so far as we know.
As of right now,
they've already said that she is the Last Jedi. Which I guess leading up to the Last Jedi, I thought it was Luke, but I think that was normal.
Well, it was Luke until it was Rey. Pretty much.
That's fair.
Kind of was both. Is Luke or Rey the Last Jedi? Well, they both are.
So, I mean, honestly, with the main 4, I don't think there's a whole lot to discuss because
Kylo is the one that I think.
Kylo's the one I want to know.
Yeah, Kylo is the one where it's like it's just him and Hux now leading the entire First Order. Is there going to be a power struggle? Is there going to be someone else that's going to challenge him for Supreme Leader? Because Hux clearly is not.
Well, I think that's where Richard E. Grant comes into place.
Okay.
I think that's where he'll come into place. Because he's never played when he's in roles like that. He's never played like anything similar to a lower rank or a grunt ever. So he's definitely going to be some high officer or someone high up in the First Order. Something I don't think we've talked about. It would be cool to actually see in the First Order the fallout of Snoke's death. Do they make it to where Rey killed him?
Oh yeah, that's what Kylo said.
Oh,
Kylo told them when he gets up, when Hux is like about to pull his blaster out and then he puts it away, and Kylo was like, the girl killed him and ran away and stole his shuttle or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely going to be portrayed as Rey killed Snoke.
Because I was relating that back to there's a part in Thrawn where they talk about when they're talking about Anakin, about how to the Empire, like Anakin was a hero because he fought against the Jedis. So I'm curious if it's going to be some kind of like weird construed story that involves, Rey was the one who killed our Supreme Leader, you know. But it would be cool to see the actual fallout and the changing hands of the First Order and things like that. Like I really kind of hope that we don't have a specific. I mean, of course, we're gonna have a specific story, but I kind of just hope we get a lot of different things. Like I want to see different character interact.
We've talked about this in the past since Last Jedi came out, where it's kind of Last Jedi was point A to point B, and there wasn't really a lot in between. It's they leave the Resistance base, and then they're chased by the First Order, and then they are chased by the First Order to Crate, and then some stuff kind of a little bit happens in between. But it's really kind of a point A to point B story. I just kind of hope that there's a bunch of different plot threads. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And JJ's real good about if that is the case, it's going to be done in a very good way. So I
even think about it, because The Force Awakens kind of was a point A to point B of sorts, but it didn't feel like it. You know, like you have Rey is on Jakku, and Finn is on, you know, the ship he's technically on Jakku, but then he goes back to the Star Destroyer above Jakku, and then they do cross paths, but it doesn't seem like it's just one place leading to the next place. It was kind of still different locations, if you will.
Yeah.
I feel like I think JJ, I don't know. We're going to have to wait to see the first trailer, I think. It's not even filming yet. It's filming, what, next month?
Yeah, they're starting filming. Well, yeah, it does say.
It says release is scheduled for...
So they'll either start next month. They're going to start this fall.
Filming at London's Pinewood Studios on August 1st. So it starts in a couple days.
Oh wow!
So trailer probably won't be for a long time.
Trailer will probably release at Celebration. If I was to guess where it's going to be at Celebration.
I think that's too soon.
I don't know.
I think they play this one close to the vest. I don't think we see a trailer until when's Celebration? March?
I will look it up.
I think Celebration's too soon.
Because they've cut out, like, I don't know Star Wars specifically, but they've done trailers like real quick turnaround, like put something, and also
but I know JJ was upset about having to turn around a trailer for Force Awakens as fast as they asked him
to. April 11th through the 15th will be 2019.
Yeah, that's way too soon. I think we see a trailer maybe July, June, July. It's gonna be really late. I mean, really late. Think about how long it took for us to get a Solo trailer.
Yeah, that may be a different situation though, just because of the changing hands.
I don't think so. I think that they want to make sure this thing is good to go before they show us anything about it. I think this is Disney knows this is their last shot. If they screw this up, they're screwed. I think they play it close to the vest.
I think we may get like just a small teaser.
Might get a teaser, yeah, but not a trailer.
Because the Force Awakens teaser was stuff that except for a part where John Boyega pops up, was for the most part just scenes that weren't in the movie.
Was the trailer even anything? I feel like it was just like
the first one I ever saw. It's the
very first teaser trailer. Well, I feel like it was like 10 seconds long, and it was just like
Kylo
Yoda theme, like the end of the Yoda theme when Yoda lifts the X-wing out. It was that theme. You see Kylo with the hood on walking through the woods, ignites his lightsaber,
and then Finn popped up.
I don't even know if you saw Finn in that original one, though. And then it shows, you know, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. It doesn't even say Episode 7. It says Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and then you see the Falcon when she's doing the maneuver on Jakku, but you don't know who's piloting or anything.
Oh, with the second one, the actual full one probably was the one where Snoke's like, there's been an awakening. Have you felt it? And that's when Finn pops up.
But I think Snoke might have been in that first. I don't know. It was so long ago. Whatever. I think we get maybe a teaser, but I don't think we get a full trailer for a long time. I think they want to make sure this movie is down pat, especially with the issues they had with like Rogue One, where it's like, well, there's stuff in the trailer that's not in the movie, like with when Jin is walking to the tower thing, and then the TIE fighter floats up towards her, and it's like that looked like an awesome scene, and then it just didn't happen that way.
Well, they've done that. They've done that with almost all of them. Like, from my understanding,
but that was the most egregious thing was the X-wing not the X-wing, the TIE fighter in Rogue One. I gotta rewatch Rogue One too, man. It's such a good movie.
Yeah, I think The Last Jedi is the next one I'm going to pop on, just because I've seen Force Awakens recently, and I feel like I've seen Last Jedi recently too. But there's a lot more to. Okay, so the very first teaser trailer, you don't see the Kylo thing until the end of the trailer. Like it starts with John Boyega popping up, and then you have like a scene of BB-8 running, and then Rey getting on her speeder, and then Poe in the X-wing over Maz's Lake, over Takodana, and then the ending is the Falcon. So yeah, I feel like we're kind of turning into the Joe Rogan podcast because we keep it like, is that right? Let me go check it.
So I'm just looking up. The only other one we did not mention was Naomi Ackie. I just wasn't familiar with her. I don't see anything that I'm familiar with her from. She was in like one episode of Doctor Who, but I would have to watch that episode because there's so many episodes of Doctor Who. I think I know what character she's in. She was in the Face of the Raven episode. I think she was the girl that was like stuck in between dimensions, but I can't remember. I'm not very familiar with her, so I'm just she's
probably going to be, I'm just going to call it, she's probably going to be a character close to maybe Rose. She strikes me as being maybe a resistance type character.
I wonder if she's going to be someone that they kind of recruit. Like, you know how like at the end of The Last Jedi is kind of like they're searching for people to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if she's going to be, or, oh, hold on. Wait, let me do a fact check real quick. Let me see the likeness of another character that I think she might be like an older version of,
because that is something I forget, is that this one they're basically rebuilding the Resistance. Like the Resistance from what we gathered is like a very, very, very small splinter. It's just separated throughout, because they said that in the Last Jedi, it's like they heard us, they're just not responding. So I wonder if we are going to see a rebuilding of the Resistance.
I wonder if she's an older Enfys Nest. That'd be cool. Probably not. I'd say 95% chance not Enfys Nest. So, but it would be cool. It would be cool.
I'm not trying to come off in any way, shape, or form, but is she a little bit darker than the actress who played Enfys Nest?
I don't think that matters, though. I know what you're saying, and I know you're not meaning it in a mean way, but yeah, you're pointing out facts. You're pointing out facts. I don't think that matters, though. I think they could just say it, and people would just buy into it. Because, what's his name? I almost said Lawrence Fishburne, but it's not Lawrence Fishburne. Why can I not? Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker. He was a lot darker of a skin tone than Saw was in the Clone Wars. So I don't think that really matters. That'd be cool. I doubt. Like I said, I highly, highly doubt it. But that would be cool to just kind of tie Solo in. But I don't think so. I do think she'll be some part of the rebellion. I just call it the rebellion.
She was pretty young. Enfys Nest was pretty young. Was she like 18 in Solo?
Like really young in Solo, yeah.
Maybe,
but I don't think she. I don't think Naomi Ackie looks as old as.
Yeah, no, she would look older than that for sure.
But it would have been cool. It was just an idea I had, but yeah, probably not. She'll probably be. I just really hope they call it the Rebellion in Episode 9. Just please stop with this Resistance stuff. You should just call it the Rebellion in the first place.
Yeah, I get that.
I guess you couldn't call it the Rebellion because who are they rebelling against if the Republic, like the New Republic, is a thing? You're not rebelling against the New Republic. So I guess the Resistance is resisting against the First Order from taking over the Republic, I guess. But now the First Order is the Republic of sorts. Like they are the premier like power in the galaxy. So now you can call it the Rebellion. So please just call it the Rebellion. Please. Please.
I think they will. I think after what happened in The Last Jedi, they will. I mean, you see that in The Force Awakens that the Rebellion is still there, kind of, but they're not. They're basically the Republic now, because that's like you see them when they blow
core of the Rebellion turned into the Republic.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
So we'll end on this because we are running longer than we usually go, which is fine. I like when we have longer discussions, but we'll end on this. John Williams. This is his last hurrah at Star Wars, if our assumptions are correct. Because I think there was a quote that he said this was going to be the last time where he can close it out. If this is his last hurrah, I am so excited to see what he comes up with, because when he thought that Revenge of the Sith was his last hurrah, he went balls to the wall, boy. That Revenge of the Sith soundtrack. Oh my goodness.
I'm getting chills right now thinking about it.
So it's like thinking like if this is really like he's like, all right, I thought it was the last 3 times ago. This is the real last time. It's like, oh boy. I hope he finds a way to tie in like 3 whole trilogies. And maybe I'm putting too much expectations on it now, but I don't know. I'm just like, give me a little bit of Yoda, a little bit of the choral stuff from prequels. Well,
this really probably should be his last hurrah because it would be perfect too. I think that after episode 9, I think that it is probably, and this may be a little blasphemous, but I think it is time to find that next person to take that mantle. Because why not go out on something that you first started on, the end of the Skywalker saga?
Well, exactly. It's the end of the Skywalker saga. Even if they do episodes 10, 11, and 12, which I don't know if they do at this point because episodes 7, 8, and 9 have just become so much of a mess. And they said this is the end of the Skywalkers. If they never said that and it just never was a question to begin with and they just never commented on it, I think that maybe 10, 11, and 12 would also continue the Skywalker lineage somehow. Because people forget Kylo's last name, Ben Solo, it's not Skywalker, but he is still of the Skywalker lineage. He's still directly a Skywalker. His mother was a Skywalker by blood, maybe not by name, but by blood. What I want to say about John Williams coming in for one last time with this, when he thought Revenge of the Sith was his last one, if you just go listen to, what's the specific credits track called? It's like the final track on Revenge of the Sith. It has everything in it. Everything. I actually recommend anyone, even if you're not a big soundtrack listener in general, go listen to it. It's called A New Hope and End Credits. It has... He even was quoted, I think, as saying, like, this is the last time I'm going to really get to see these characters and these themes. I'm going to throw everything all together. And so you get the throne room, you get, the binary sunset, you get Luke, you get Leia, you get Yoda, you get, Battle of the Heroes, you get everything. You get, I think there's Duel of the Fates in there. I don't remember. But you get, like, he just puts everything, and it's just like an all-star kind of, like a greatest hits almost at the end of that movie and, over the credits. And so I hope he does something like that again. Maybe not exactly that. Maybe not quote stuff from the old movie, but some kind of thing like that. And then I hope, because I feel like, and I need to give Last Jedi soundtrack a little more of a listen, but I do feel like the Last Jedi soundtrack was very similar to Force Awakens, whereas like Attack of the Clones was so different from Phantom Menace, and then Revenge of the Sith was so much different from the other two. And even with the original trilogy, I feel like each one was so varied. And I do feel like Last Jedi was kind of similar to Force Awakens in a bit. I just hope for episode 9, he keeps Rey's theme, sure, keeps Kylo's to leave that, because I really like that. And then I think everything else, he just maybe not scraps, but maybe does just something totally new with. I really I'm so excited just thinking about John Williams, knowing that this is his last hurrah with these characters. I'm so excited. Yeah,
I really enjoy kind of overall throughout the soundtracks. I really enjoy the theme from The Last Jedi. I can't recall where I hear it most throughout the movie, but I remember hearing it a lot in the trailer. The one that's like dun, dun, dun.
That's not in the movie.
Dun, dun.
It's in the trailer. That's not in the movie. Because I searched for it. I searched for it, and it's not in the movie. It's only in the trailer. I don't even know if that's written by John Williams. Because I searched for it, because that got stuck in my head all the time. And I'd be like, this isn't even in the movie, and it's stuck in my head. Because it was so cool in the trailer. Because it was in the... I think they used it in the Battlefront 2 trailer as well.
I'm sad now.
I mean, maybe if that was written by him, I hope he uses it. But I don't know if that was written by him. I think that was made for the trailer. Because then it had it had that in it, and then it also had the Rey theme. I can't think off the top of my head. The had that part too. So
okay, no problem.
Yeah, if that's written by him and it was in the movie, and I just can't find it for some reason, I hope he brings that back, because I love that too.
Yeah, it was just so like it felt fresh. Like it
But
didn't
I
feel
don't
like
think it
anything
was
we've
in
heard
the.
before.
I don't think it was in the movie. It's not on the soundtrack, at least. If it was in the movie,
I just looked and I didn't see it.
that's what I'm saying. Like the Last Jedi soundtrack kind of was reworkings of Force Awakens, and then they added the Rose theme, which is okay. I didn't mind it, but it didn't really stand out that much to me.
Yeah, I did thinking back on the soundtrack. I did love the little nuances that were in it, like in the scene whenever Leia gets sucked out into space, and you can hear that faint.
He quotes Leia's theme, right?
Yeah. Those couple notes that are in there, and it just kind of makes that scene just all that kind of more special. And then of course the binary sunset at the end, whenever Luke disappears. That's still a great scene.
Right.
It's still a great
But
scene.
again, those are two things that are quoted from the original trilogy.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see. I'm really excited. We should brush up on our soundtrack and maybe talk about that in a couple weeks. Maybe not next week because I think we want to. I want to focus on trying to get through Thrawn so I can then move on to alliances. So I really want. I know I've said that in the past that I wanted to do it, but I really actually like get motivated to do it now. Now that I have alliances, looking at it is making me be like, all right, just get through Thrawn. Not even that I don't like it. I just like I've been really busy at work and it's valuation time at work. And so it's hard for me to listen to an audiobook while I'm actually working,
As of right now, I have 11 hours left of Thrawn. So I got to get through. I got to finish getting through it as well. I'm on, if you're using Audible, I'm on chapter 10 of 31.
All right. So hopefully more Thrawn next week. I'm excited to learn more about Thrawn because he's a great character. I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about this week before we close it out?
Hold on, I'm yawning. I guess just the main goal is just get through Thrawn, get as much as we can through it. Hopefully we'll hear some more. I know we probably won't, but hopefully we'll hear just a little bit, maybe more news. Since they're starting filming in August, how soon do you think we're going to get sneaks from the set?
I mean, it starts filming in 3 days.
Yeah, but I can't remember how fast the turnarounds were for them starting to film, and then because you got that one of the X-wing and from the Force Awakens when they were filming in England.
But was that outdoors though, or was that on a set?
That was outdoors. Like that was on the base, on the Resistance base. It was a photo taken of an X-wing in
right.
there.
Because I remember when they did the Force for Change thing, like you saw that X-wing in the Force for Change video.
Yeah,
and then the long neck guy with all the bags, he walked by JJ as he was talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Whose name I know, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry, I have it on my Card Trader app, and
we'll just make sure to check Twitter every now and then to see what's popped up.
Oh, I got Twitter kind of blacklisted right now because I'm getting kind of exhausted. But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure it'll pop up on IGN.com or something like that.
Yeah.
Plus, I follow Star Wars' Facebook, so it'll pop up in there too. So we will see. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for episode 13 of Hello There. Episode 13, the worst of the Final Fantasy games, in my opinion. Most disappointing at the least.
And I have nothing to add to that. So
yeah, so that's going to wrap it. More Thrawn next week. We're hoping some more, kind of something to talk about. Maybe I will kind of have something specific to talk about next week. How I like to talk about Boss Nass. Maybe we'll talk about something in the vein of that. I don't know. Maybe I'll rewatch one of the original trilogy or newer movies, and I'll pluck something out of that to talk about. So we'll see. General Kenobi, you are a bold one.
So uncivilized.